Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sisterhood of Salem Spotlight Member Series. We are on episode number 6, and we have the honor of someone in our community who has done more than I could probably name in this interview, and that is Katelyn Holappa. Many know Katelyn as Katelyn for Salem. And I am honored, Katelyn, to have you on here and to share you with the community and share all of the things that you're doing, all the policies that you are advocating for with us right now. And I can't wait to shine a spotlight on that today. So thank you, Katelyn, for being here.
Of course. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate the invitation.
Yes, yeah. So there's a lot going on right now. Are there any things that feel like they're on top, Katelyn, to shed a light on and share today?
Yeah, I mean it's in a sort of twist of irony that the two things on everyone's mind in late January here is snow and ice, and ice is like the capital ICE, right? And the snow is
Yes.
the 20 inches of snow that we just got, with more on the way.
Yes.
And it's interesting being a new counselor and sort of something that happens when you're a new counselor is you're exposed to a lot of new perspectives. And you
Mm.
hear from a lot of folks that are really from all over the place, all over the city, not even just necessarily in your ward. And I think one of the things that's really important to recognize in this moment, with our snow on the ground and with ice being in our community, is the importance of community and understanding that when we are here for each other, it makes everything easier. It makes clearing your driveway easier, it makes clearing your sidewalks easier. It means your neighbor who's down the street that needs a shoulder replacement doesn't have to be in pain trying to get themselves out of their house.
Mm.
It also means that we can stand up for each other and that we can be the ones that protect each other. And Salem has a long history of that. North Salem has a long history of that, going all the way back to Leslie's Retreat.
Yes.
And it's something that we can be very proud of and try to hold with us as we move through these really difficult times.
Hmm. What a beautiful message about community and coming together, more important than ever, and definitely something that Sisterhood of Salem stands for, right? It's all about just uplifting each other and supporting one another, and it's about celebrating and helping support. So thank you for that message, Katelyn. We need it now more than ever, whether it's shoveling snow or bringing a meal or protecting someone's rights. Definitely, that is needed. Is there anything else? Even, Katelyn, I'm curious if you don't mind sharing what brought you to becoming a counselor. That's a
Sure.
huge honor, and what drew you to that position?
Yeah, it's an honor, it's a privilege, it's a responsibility. There are sort of a few things. Frankly, I think the moment that I made the decision to run for office, to run for the city council, I was standing outside of Congressman Moulton's office shortly after he had said what he had said about the trans community, continue to double down, continue to spread some of the rhetoric that he was spreading, the dangerous rhetoric, and how it's impacted our community has been really frustrating. Um, so part of it is lies in that. It lies in representation. It lies in being visible. Something that probably a lot of folks don't know is the transgender community every March has an event called the Trans Day of Visibility,
Mm.
which is about being visible and being joyous in our community. And so part of that was an emotion and a feeling and a reason for doing this. The other reason is I like fixing problems,
Mm.
and I have a lot of thoughts, and I like to be able to communicate and work with folks to try to solve common problems. And I really want to be a part of the solution for a lot of the problems that Salem has now and is going to continue to have in the future. Um, and the last part is there was an opportunity. Our previous Ward 6 counselor was not seeking reelection. She is now on the school committee, and so there was an open seat to someone that was going to sit on the city council that was going to represent me, and I had an option to be okay with that and see what was going to happen, or I had an option to kind of take the lead and throw my own name in the hat and see what happened, and it worked out, which I'm really grateful for.
Yay. It did. It did. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all that and your representation and what you bring in your personal journey and what you bring for supporting the trans community and making sure that they're made visible and supported. And I love that you are a problem solver because I can see how that is very much needed in your position and not everyone has that as a gift. And combining that with something that you said early on is pretty special, and that is your openness to different perspectives. It sounds like you bring both of that,
Yeah.
which is
I'm a firm believer that the more perspectives you get in the room to be part of the problem solving, the better solution you're going to end up having. Because all of us, just by our nature, have limited perspectives. And there are things that I never would have considered that someone living in, I don't know, living on Orange Street might have a thought or something that is really important to them that they experience every day. That it's just like a little detail that is important when we talk about solving problems in the neighborhood.
yes, yeah, absolutely. I love that idea and how much it taps into collaboration, how much it taps into creativity to be able to hear more voices. So thank you for
We all have
bringing.
stake in our neighborhood in our own ways, and I think it's important to give people a little bit of that stake and responsibility if they're willing to sort of take it and have them be part of the solutions for things as well.
Love that. So like every voice is
Right?
heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that, Caitlin. Anything else that you want to share in this interview and with our community?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, if anyone's seeing this while we still have snow, I would just ask for some patience with the DPS
Mm.
department and doing all of that work. One of the things that I witnessed when I was campaigning and I was going all over the ward over the summer. And if you saw me out there, you saw me drenched in sweat, and I'm very Norwegian Scandinavian. That's how I work. I love the snow. I hate the heat, so this is great for me. Um, One of the things that I sort of experienced was if you believe it, there's a lot of folks in the city that are experiencing problems and they're frustrated that they're not being fixed and they're not being solved. Um, Folks are the city's becoming sort of increasingly hard to afford to live here with the cost of housing, everything
Hmm.
going on at the federal government level, pulling funding. And I think a few things that speaks to the importance of community. It speaks to the importance of us sticking up for each other and being with each other. And the other thing I just wanted to share is that many of our neighbors, or some of our neighbors, are also city employees.
Hmm.
And it's important to recognize that a lot of them are doing the best that they can with the limited resources that they have.
Hmm.
And the more that we can sort of, and again, solve problems for ourselves and work with them to collaborate and solve problems, the better off everything's going to be. So when I ask for patience for some people, that's part of where that perspective comes from. Is like our DPS workers have been working around the clock. I had to call them last night because there was a truck that was like an 18-wheeler that was stuck on a road that was
Hmm.
going to take out a utility pole if they didn't get it towed, and they showed up right away and started clearing it out. Um, there's always It's always easy to see the problems that are happening in the city and the things that we need to address it. And sometimes they seem so obvious that they can be fixed. But it's sometimes a little bit harder to see the 2,000 other items that are in the backlog that are affecting other people, sometimes a little bit more, that are bigger problems to solve or more important problems to solve. Um, and that isn't always communicated well, or that isn't always clear to people.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And sometimes it can't be. Sometimes there's so much more to the picture that we don't see, and the amount of time it would take you to communicate that to us or community officials and workers to like we just you carry that, you actually carry that for us. But I love that, like us all taking a pause and like thinking there's probably more to this than we realize. And I loved what you said people are doing the best they can with limited resources. Very important for us to take note of that. And then also like we sometimes like our brain just defaults to the negative, but like think of all the amazing things. I mean, I think we live in one of the most magical places in the world.
We do.
But
Yep.
even thinking like the layout, geographically, how we're laid out in our streets that are practically like European and diagonal, and it's not a grid. Like what we still are able to do to maintain the coastal beauty, but like not easy. Not
Yeah.
just even geographically, we have some things working against us, especially when we get
Right.
20 inches of snow.
Yes.
Where do you put
Absolutely.
it? Where do we put
Yep.
it?
Right. It's tough. One of the things that I like to say a lot in my transportation advocacy is that the city of Salem existed for about 300 years before the invention of the automobile. And it's so transparent when you look at the city that like that's absolutely how this was laid out. And I'm really grateful for that because that's what gives it so much of its charm.
Yes.
Is that if you can tell the parts of the city that were done during urban renewal, that were done during like the 50s and 60s, and in my opinion they're some of the worst places in the city. It's like Riley Plaza, which is full of cars. There's a parking lot right there. It's loud, it's unpleasant to be there. One of my focus areas, we'll say, for my counselorship, I don't know what that adjective is. um,
That sounds good.
yeah, it sounds right. Is that the North Street overpass, which was done in the 50s? It's sort of falling apart. The state's working on a project to address it. But since they built it, it's really isolated the rest of North Salem from the downtown.
Mm.
It's kind of like you dropped a piece of 128, Route 128, in the middle of Salem. That's the site of the old bridge that we stood up to the British Army during
Yes.
Leslie's, called Leslie's Retreat. There was an amphitheater there that was like a boxing match. It was like beloved by the community, and it all got torn down for the sake of trying to make it a little bit easier to drive through the city. And
Mm.
the thing that I've been hearing from residents and people all over the city for a while now is it's getting more and more dangerous to just live on some side street with through traffic coming in. Newer cars are much bigger than they used to be. They're much heavier than they used to be, which makes them much more dangerous. We have too many cars on the road, and you can see that with just the amount of traffic that we have. And I'm really working with the city and other counselors to try to first identify and acknowledge that this is a problem that we need to fix,
Mm-hmm.
and acknowledge that we need to be prioritizing the safety of the people that live in the neighborhoods here over the convenience of the people that drive through them. And for the
Mm.
last 75 years or so, that's really been backwards. We've been prioritizing the convenience of people over the safety of the people that live there. And it's increasingly apparent that that's something that we need to change.
Mm. See, that's another example of us like having a limited view, right? And not understanding the ideas of safety and what that's like a whole other like civil engineering, like so other like just not probably in most people's wheelhouse,
Right.
but obviously
It's
something we've got to focus on.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the way that the world around us shapes the way that we think.
Yes.
And there's things that are normal here that are completely foreign to someplace in Indiana, for example, let alone the rest of the world.
Yes.
Uh, and that's how the world works, right? Salem's old, people are complicated, things are different and unique, and that's what brings a lot of beauty and a lot of challenges.
Yes, yeah. What a great way, like beauty and challenges. You know, like you said, the history, the charm, the uniqueness, but then all of the challenges and problems that brings us, and holding
Hmm.
both
Right.
at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how do we use modern solutions to solve modern problems? How do we use maybe older solutions to solve older problems or modern problems? I mean, and going back to what I was saying earlier, that's what the importance of having different perspectives involved in this
Yes.
is so many people experience the world in different ways, and getting that perspective into some of these problem solving is so important.
Yes. Yeah. Again, love that. The just being open, like starting and just being open and hearing every single possibility before finding the solution instead of being stuck on something, going into it, being stuck on something. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, thank you, Katelyn. Is there a way that we can support you? Is there a way that the sisterhood can support you? Is there a way people can contact you? How can we best support you? Just basically.
My information is available on the city's website. You can go look up the city council, and my name is in the directory. So my email address is in there. My phone number is in there. One of the best ways, I think, I'll say broadly, how I can be supported, or how we can get some work done, is communicating with the city officials.
Mm,
We've had a lot of emails recently from folks about their concerns and frustrations with what ICE is doing nationwide in Minnesota, Minneapolis specifically. And people are asking really good, challenging questions. And it's so important that, again, going back to sharing perspectives, it's so important that those are shared with leaders at the municipal level, at the state level, at the federal level. Um, and I think a lot of folks don't really understand how much power they have at the municipal level, at the local level specifically.
mm,
Um, you can send emails, you can call people, and you can call our representatives in Washington and in Boston. Um, but you can also show up at city council meetings.
mm.
You have to sign up, and there's a way to sign up for public comment, but they are open to the public. Mass general law states that they have to be open to the public. There's certain rules about how much information needs to be shared beforehand. You can't just have like an impromptu meeting. They have to be scheduled in advance to make sure people have the ability to attend. And that participation in our democracy is really, really important, and it's really powerful.
Mm.
I can say most council meetings that I've been to, and I've been to many before I even became a counselor, if you have 5 people sitting there, that's a lot. If a
Yeah.
hundred people showed up to a council meeting, that would be unprecedented. And 100
Mm.
people in the grand scheme of Salem, it's not a lot of people.
No, that's not. That's not participation. Participation and what I love about your invitation is it's empowering. And again comes back to that like honoring every voice,
Right.
honoring every idea, very consistent with your message. And I'm not sure everybody realizes that power. I don't know if everyone realizes that they can show up at a meeting. I don't know. That might be another thing that's like a blind spot. So I'm glad you said that, and I will make sure that I write that in the caption
Great.
and everything
Yeah,
else.
it's not always the most transparent. City government's not always the most transparent. That goes back to people doing sort of the best they can with the resources that they have.
Yes.
Um, an attempt is made, and I think it's part of my job as an elected official, as someone who represents part of the city, is to try to make that more transparent, try to make sure that I am accessible and that the other
Mm.
representatives here are accessible, because that's the whole point of the job. We are representing the people, and we need to be accessible to people in order to do that. And that means that we need to be able to. I mean, we need to listen, but folks need to understand the mechanisms that are the most powerful ways to get us to hear those messages.
Hmm. Yes. I love that. I'm so grateful for you, Katelyn, and everything that you represent. And I'm so grateful that you made yourself accessible for this
Of course.
and that you're part of the sisterhood. And I feel like this is a really valuable interview, not only for Ward 6, not only for Salem, but probably everyone could use this right now. So thank you for everything you shared.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right, everyone. Well, please make sure that you subscribe to the Sisterhood of Salem and follow us for these amazing spotlight series. And definitely follow Katelyn. Keep in touch with Katelyn. Show up at these city council meetings and share your voice, share your ideas. And you have an open invitation for so, as Katelyn shared with us today. Thanks, everyone. Take good care.